Major moves, we going all in, like we got nothing to lose. We making moves, we making major moves, we making moves, we making major moves, we making moves.
Welcome back to my channel. I want to thank you guys for actively deciding to spend time with me. I'm just a guy in a Spider-Man mask, a cool one I might add. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just providing information and content already on the internet, and I just read it and present it to you guys in a way that may reach you or may not reach you. Whatever the reason is you found my page, I'm grateful you're here, and thank you for spending time with me. Let's get into this. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Mr. Man. If you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping in. Thank you for spending some time with me. I appreciate every single one of you guys, whether you're new or returning or just love to hang out, because I love to just hang out with you guys. So today, I guess a quick overview what I got with you about Citibank here and possible connections. I have, let me just go over it so I can go over it quickly with you guys. Here we go, the AUD, the new or the Australian dollar here. I have Chad dropping information about the dollar there, so if you guys want to get it. I have the digital, what's it called here? The Delete Act from in California. And then I have this here, which has to do with trade finance. And then it goes into the digital service standards and then the act itself. So let's do this really quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on it today. Today, Citi unveiling, my man here, Chad, busted out some serious info. Today, Citi unveiled 2 digital asset solutions under the umbrella of Citi Token Services. Both services target institution. One is a pilot for tokenized deposits. Banks will create their own tokens, obviously, right? So from Bank A to Bank B, and they will need a bridge for that. He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. So if we click into it, this is what we're looking at. This is the Citi document there. This came out 12 hours ago here. So it says Citi unveils tokenized deposits for institutional trade cash. Today, Citi unveils 2 digital asset solutions under the umbrella of Citi Tokens Services. Both services target institution. One is a pilot for tokenized deposits, enabling organizations to move money between Citi branches worldwide and 24/7. The other is a trade solution. There's that word. The trade solution that provides smart contracts based bank guarantees that was piloted in a collaboration with Maersk. Maersk has to do with trade finance. The trade application uses a smart contract to trigger an instant payment using tokenized deposits. Citi founded the RLN, which is the Regulated Liability Network, a multi-bank collaboration for digital assets, tokenized deposits, and CBDCs. However, here we go, Citi Tokenized Services is separate and complements the RLN. So in other words, it adds to the RLN, it's just like a connector or something along those lines. Citi Token Services provides corporate treasurers with a new tool to manage global liquidity. Hear my words. This new tool for corporate treasurers with a new tool to manage global liquidity on a just-in-time programmable basis. If you guys see or pick up what I'm dropping down there, global liquidity on just-in-time. It used to be ODL, on-demand liquidity through Ripple. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that's what it sounds like to me. But now they call it Ripple Payments via RippleNet. Is Citi a part of RippleNet? I haven't seen that specifically. If I have, I don't remember immediately. So I will give that a look and I'll try to find that for you guys. So on a programmable basis, just-in-time global liquidity. Last I checked, Ripple was working with a bunch of conglomerate banks here, the GSIBs and the GSIFIs, systemically important financial institutions, working with these big names here, over 300 financial services. I want to say Citi's one of them as well. I don't know why they feel like they'd be left out, or why anybody else feels like they'd be left out. Right? This is Ripple's bread and butter. Said Ryan Rugg, Global Head of Digital Assets at Citi Treasury and Trade Solutions. Yeah, you did, didn't you? Okay. So, Alarm bell sound over cash rationing as Aussie banks go cashless. Yo! Okay, let's see this. So, did I already have that pulled up? No, I didn't. Okay. So, alarm bell sound over cash rationing as Aussie banks go cashless. Australians' march toward becoming a cashless society has set off alarm bells, with concerns now growing about cash rationing as banks increasingly adopt digital banking. According to finance expert Sarah Wells, cash rationing. I don't know who Sarah Wells is. I haven't looked into her. I haven't verified her. I'm just reading the article. Involves banks holding holding only a limited amount of physical cash in their ATMs. In a recent interview with Daily Mail Australia, Wells painted out that banks might consider implementing cash rationing as a response to the decreasing demand. The decreasing demand by who? Those are the questions we get asked. For banknotes, Wells further speculated that this measure might result in ATM withdrawals restrictions, potentially limiting customers from accessing funds at ATMs operated by different banks. Coming to a city near you. You can expect this to happen, okay? Might not be just like this, it might not be exactly, but it might rhyme. Something along these lines. In a recent interview, did I just read that? There is the possibility that as we reduce the demand, so they're saying, as we reduce the demand for cash or reduce the availability of cash, then there's going to be limited amounts of actual physical cash held. Well, doesn't that just make sense? If you're trying to reduce cash and you're limiting the amount of cash out in the ecosystem, of course, there's going to be less cash held. Okay. Okay. And then my mad Chad, as we're talking about the AUDD here it is, okay? Oops, that's not it. I'll pull it up here. So for those of you guys who want to get it, I'm not suggesting to get it. I'm not suggesting not to get it. But should you want to get it, here is the address for it. Right? I don't know if you can see that. Let me just pull it up here. There's the address for it. Maybe you want to snap a picture, or can I get the QR code? There's the QR code. That's how we do it here on the Stellar Network, Stellar Expert. So if you want that AUDD, I've added it to my Lobster wallet now. So I have the AUDD, Australia's digital dollar, built on the Stellar Network. Okay, as we go through, this was next. So now we'll learn about the AUDD. Holy hell. The Australian digital dollar is now live by Ripple partner Nobody. Availability XRPL, Stellar, Ethereum. I believe Ethereum is the test net. I believe XRP is the back end. I believe Stellar is the front end. I'm not saying back end, front end, but they both intermingle and have comminglings every now and again with whatever's going on. There's no argument between Brad and Chad and about some girl and any of that stupid story that have you believe. So, AUDD is short. AUDD is short for Australian Digital Dollar. The AUDD is Nobody's as stablecoin intended for facilitating transactions and remittances between businesses and their customers. Unlike some other stablecoins that limit the use of the corporate-to-corporate or intra-corporate transactions, AUDD is unlimited by design. Maximum flexibility, blockchain agnostic. Blockchain agnostic. Why? Why do you think it's blockchain agnostic? Can't think of why. AUDD is blockchain agnostic. At launch, it will be available on two of the most reputable commercial blockchains, Stellar and Ripple. Our intention is to add AUDD to the Ethereum and further blockchains on a case-by-case basis. This will give AUDD the ability to facilitate transactions with nearly every currency in the world, be it crypto or fiat. Right? Boom! There we go. Maximum stability pegged to Australian dollar. The price of AUD is pegged to the AES. This addresses the price volatility that no non-stable coins experience when their prices swing due to the imbalance between the supply and demand of the tokens. So you understand that us in this world now, in this digital world, this is how they're going to get us to continue using digital as opposed to jumping between fiat and digital. We understand fiat's not safe already. We understand that. We understand digital fiat is just digital fiat. However, there's more backing to this fiat than there is with the actual sinking fiats here, because this will be the level playing field in terms of the value they will bring now. So for us in the world that want to take profits, when it's time to take profits, when this crash or collapse or whatever you want to call it, correction takes place, we will most likely be jumping into fiat stablecoins, jumping into stablecoins as opposed to cash itself. You can cash out using a MoneyGram or a Western Union. Jesus, I couldn't think of the word. Or Western Union. You can use the Lobster wallet, go into MoneyGram, and you can interchange between the USDC, and they can offboard you. So what MoneyGram is a physical on and off ramp itself. So look at this, man. This is beautiful. So then I came up to this today. This here is from the IAPP, place I never heard of before. I just happened to find it. So the California State Legislature passed Senate Bill 362, the Delete Act, which is designed to streamline consumers' ability to request the deletion of their personal information collected by data brokers. That's not it. There we go. Let's just go into it. Just a quick overview of it. California legislature passed the Delete Act. Okay. So we read that first part. The proposal originally passed the California State Senate 31st of May before receiving approval with amendments from the Assembly of the 13th of September. The bill cleared the legislature with Senate concurrence on the 14th of September, the final day of the 2023 legislation session. That's the last day of it. The bill now awaits the signature of Governor Gavin Newsom. So when Newsom finally signs this bill, those in California will be able to, which is designed to streamline consumers' ability to request the deletion of their personal information collected by data brokers. So any of those data companies out there, you can now request to that company and say, delete my information because I have control of it now. But for that to work, you must have a digital ID, I can almost guarantee you, because how do you prove that it's your information? I haven't read the bill yet. This is my assumption. You have to have some way to verify and prove that you are who you say you are. So that being said, I'm sure there's going to have a digital ID of sorts. To get, you got to give. Okay, so here we go. Now jumping into one of my favorite topics here, the trade finance here. So this here, the Electronic Trade Document Act, comes into power September 20th. Today is the 18th, 2 days left. After this act, what we need to see is the Carriage of Goods by C Act amended to reflect the digital update. Let me just quickly jump into this, okay? I'm going to copy that. That's a long word. Just to show you guys what this is, and then I'll give you an understanding of what it is so you know what you're looking at. So, the Carriage of Goods Act defines the basic relationship, duties, liabilities, rights, and immunities between ocean carrier and cargo owner. So the COGSA was passed in the United States in 1936, and its enactment was the result of various concerns by Congress. So for instance, in Canada, you go to Canada Post. In the US, you go to the Mail Postal Services. In wherever else around the world you go to your postal services. That postal services have their own trucking services now, whether, again, Canada Post, the US Mail, and that trucking services goes to wherever it needs to go at that point. So if I'm sending something from Canada to Germany, that postal service now in the back of the truck that I went to first, they take it, load it up in the back of the truck. The back of the truck goes to the shipping company at that point now. For the shipping company, All vessels at sea are under maritime law. Maritime law comes out of Europe. So Europe runs the International Maritime Organization. They are the governing body of these of the maritime law itself. I will come back to where I'm at. Let me just show you guys this, okay? Maritime Organization. All right, this is who they are here. These are one of the top heads. I'm sure they talk to other, organizations and think tanks as well, but this is who they are, the International Maritime Organization. And these are the guys that handle the regulation or have the ability to change and amend the maritime laws. So I'll be following these guys to find out how they're going to be doing this and bringing it down the pipeline. So where was I at? COGSA. So with COGSA, that being said, now for my package to enter that ship itself, now there has to be a bill of lading that states that this information or this package has Mr. Man's information. It comes from Mr. Man. It knows where Mr. Man lives. It knows where Mr. Man had gone to the initial mail service and provided that information there, and I paid for it there. So it begins to track my steps. And it's all done on paper, not digital, just paper. So you have one paper when I first get there and I sign something, I pay for it, I get the receipt. They have the shipping or the movement, if you will, from the supply chain from the truck to the ships. So at the ship, they sign a bill of lading and a bill of lading, an agreement stating that this is now possesses the ability or the right conferred by law to enter the sea. And when it enters the sea, now there's a bilateral agreement. So it leaves from Canada and goes to, say, the US. But while the ship is entering international waters, the laws that ship has to adhere to begin to change. So that agreement now, COGSA, what a COGSA does, it has an agreement that states that the original two entities, from Mr. Man here on this end to whoever Mr. Man was shipping this to, this COGSA allows the middle person here or the other steps along the way to exist. It states that this entity, this ship, these trucks can now infiltrate, if you will, our agreement that I had with the end process here. So when this ship has this agreement or has my products, shipping it to that other person on the other end, they have the right conferred by law to do this contractually, to hold this for me based off of the agreement I had made with the first postal place that I had gone to drop this off. That's what this act does. That's how that works. And then that ship will soon leave Canada waters, enter international waters, and from international waters at sea, it will soon enter the U.S. waters, and they'll have to abide by the U.S. laws and regulation in regards to shipping and how they do their shipping regulations in the U.S. So those individuals at sea will need to know what this bilateral agreement is between Canada and the U.S. and wherever else this ship may sail, that it's outside of its own jurisdiction. Okay, so that's how that works. Whew. Let's do this. Hope you guys are learning something here. I'm dropping real knowledge here, real regulation knowledge. This is what I went to school for, aviation management. We had to learn laws, we had to learn regulations, we had to learn how to read regulations and make sense of them. This is what's up. Okay, so now that you guys know this, listen to this man here. This is, what the hell is your name again? I said, what's your name? This is Chris Southworth. And he's the Secretary General at the ICC. If you see the name behind him right there. The ICC, International Chambers of Commerce. For you guys who don't know who that is, let me just show you quickly. International Chamber of Commerce. Here we go. Show you guys who they are. I'm sure I showed you guys many times on my page here. So for business, for you. We are ICC. I don't want to watch a video. I want to show you a video. Let me just do this quickly. Okay. Who is the So here we go. The ICC is the world's largest business organization through a unique mix of advocacy, solutions, and standard settings. Standard settings, okay, that's who these guys are. Standard settings bodies. They're not the fake regulators like the SEC and the CFTC and the OSC in Canada and whatever else. Those are regulators for us to play within. These guys are the regulators for the big boys to play within. They set the regulations, all right? Like in aviation, that's ICAO, that's IATA. They say they're regulating bodies. They say they're not governing bodies because we just set recommendations. However, you don't have to follow recommendations, but every organization follows recommendations. Like, come on. So it promotes international trade, responsible business conduct, and a global approach to regulation. Did you hear this? A global approach to regulation. All right. Let me let you hear what this gentleman has to say now. Finally. I'm going to mute my mic here so you can hear him clearly.
Like all of us actually on this call, on this forum, you know, it's pillar one and pillar two. I think we've got to focus on enabling the market, create the environment in which the systems and the technologies and the industries can grow. And so, yes, I think we have the tool. I think that's really important. One of the most exciting initiatives, I think, right now, anywhere in the trade environment is the Digital Standards Initiative in Singapore.
The digital standards in Singapore. Where is it? Okay. So now that you've caught wind of that, here we go. The digital service standards. This is in Singapore, okay? Look. GovTech in Singapore. So let's just see what they are. So you have a better understanding of what he's talking about. That way you're not so lost. I might understand it, but I need to make sure you guys understand what I understand. That way we can understand together. You understand me? Digital service standards guides agencies to implement their digital services to meet the Digital Government Blueprint, or DGB. Don't have to remember the acronyms. Just understand that when you see them, I know this. I've seen this before. Goal of delivering digital services that are easy, seamless, and relevant for our citizens and businesses. All public-facing digital services of the government must meet the DSS. What's the DSS? The Digital Service Standard. Don't forget that, okay? So when you see it again, you know you heard it. In addition, the government conducts mystery shopping checks based on the DSS to ensure that our digital services are implemented consistently to meet the desired outcome of DGB. A new version of the DSS has been released July 2020. The new version is available here. Let's see what that new version is. You're not it. Here we go. So here we go. Here it is here, okay? The Digital Service Standards Public Release. I just want to read the overview and maybe a bit of the body itself to give you guys a better understanding. So the introduction is a set of standards for agencies to implement their digital services to meet the Digital Government Blueprint. Goal for developing digital services that are easy, seamless, and relevant for our citizens. All publicly read this stuff. We've read this stuff. Planning and ownership. Okay. Front-end user interface design. Okay, then we also understand that. Here we go. Intuitive design and sustainabilities. As the government's digital shopfront, our digital services must be well designed so that citizens and businesses can interact with us digitally in an intuitive and easy to use manner. So here we go. So easily searchable. So web-based digital services shall be easily searchable by search engines. 6.2 standard is a prominent feature of transactional services. Okay, so now we're at the paying portion here. Web-based transactional services shall be easily discovered within 2 to 3 clicks from the homepage. They want you to understand and know where you can make payments, wherever payments is due, within 2 to 3 clicks of that homepage. And viewable by the user without prior login. You don't need to log into nothing. You do it. That's where the digital ID comes in. Any prerequisites for user to complete the transaction, for example, estimate a completion time, payment method, shall be provided upfront prior to login. Web-based information, so they want you to be able to pay for it. I guess I was wrong with the digital ID. So they want you to be able to find the payment method still prior to login. Login is there, but within 2 to 3 clicks, you can still find the payment service. Shall display the list of available transactional services and provide any useful information for each of the transactional services. So if you're in Canada and you pay with your bank information is going to be there. If there's other banks that they use, it's going to be there as well. If it's PayPal in Canada, we do have that now. PayPal will be there. I just downloaded Stripe, so we have Stripe as well. So they have the options there. You can choose whatever it is that you want to be paid out in, if they allow that service. Unless they just have their particular services that they use, that you just have to potentially use that service. That's how it's been. I'm not sure if it's opening up yet, but we'll see. Digital services shall ensure ease of navigation via features that include reasonable number of links, familiar with consistent placements of navigation, site search, and allow users to know where they are on the website. So this is just setting up the framework here for you for the digital services, what they want you to do, how they want you to perform, not for you and I, but for the other payment service provider. 2 to 3 clicks max to find this. Log in, should be able to achieve the payment service without having to log in, but they still want you to access to log in. They're telling you what the site looks like, how many number of links. That they want everything to be like, they want there to be a standard that everybody has to adhere to, so they're all the same across the board. They're going to look different but operate the same. So let me just go back. I want you guys to finish hearing this.
Because if that is successful, when it's successful, I should say, because it's a huge job, it will start connecting up the digital platforms. It will start connecting up the government to business systems by simply fast tracking the standards that are already in the market so they become universal global standards, and then creating standardized systems where there aren't any in existence. And I go back to what I said at the beginning. If we imagine our consumer world, if you remember the world of Betamax and VHS videos, or Apple and Microsoft kind of systems, when none of them talk to each other, it was horrendous, but it actually got solved pretty quickly in the grand scheme of things. And all we're talking about here is doing the same in the trade environment. So we know it's possible. We just got to keep focused on it, support it, and not try and pick off more than we can chew at any one time. So, I think it's really important we get some quick wins going along.
Perfect. So to find liquidity in the trade finance system there right now, because there are no liquidity, this is a simple search here, and that usually takes me back to here. It's just a quick search. You guys can use that one there. So here, XDC liquidity and Trade Finex. I've shown you guys this before. Down to the, where is it? Huh, is that the one? Oh, there we go. It is the one. I just overlooked it. So here we go. In terms of liquidity, XDC liquidity for trade finance. Background: Ripple has successfully showcased the use case of digital assets on its decentralized network, XRP, where the XRPL will be the decentralized network. XRP is the token or the offering within that ecosystem on the XRPL. And there's also RippleNet as well. Remittance companies, and they are different. XRPL is different than the RippleNets and Ripple the company. Ripple is the company, XRPL is an offering that has XRP on it. RippleNet is a siloed company on top of the XRPL, and they can utilize XRP in that RippleNet via XRPL as well. XRP built its liquidity from USD, so 250,000 per day, to approximately 2 billion per day. That's a huge increase, huge. And it has the information there. And also XDC remember someone challenging me. Not that I enjoy challenges because it helps me learn, helps me grow, helps me further my knowledge, and helps me teach somebody else too if their mind is open and listening to learn, as opposed to thinking I'm attacking them, because I'm not. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm new to this space. When I say new to the space, I mean this isn't my bread and butter in terms of financing. I just understand the regulations, so I'm trying to learn financing as I go. I understand financing, but trade financing and the way this is set up and on a global scale, this is way out of my pay grade, if you will. So I'm learning this and teaching you guys as I go. XDC is a liquidity provider as well. Don't let anybody tell you different. This is from the Trade Finex page here. And if they tell you different, they clearly have no idea what they're talking about. They can call it and say whatever they want. At that point, you've done your homework. You've seen it here on the websites. You see people using them. You heard them talking with the digital services with Singapore. Singapore's with the ICC. This is with the ICC. This Trade Finex is another company under the ICC Chambers of Commerce, and they're all connected using XDC and XRP here for liquidity, for trade finance. Okay, XRP is very diverse like that. It's not just for banks, it's for SMEs, it's for financial institution, governments. You can use AI platforms on it. I actually was chatting with an AI not long ago, and I asked it, how many projects are being built on the XRPL, and it said it's unknown. There's too many projects being built on there, and I wasn't too sure how many. I'm not too sure if that AI is intuitive to not know how many things are built on the XRPL unless the access to the XRPL is closed. I know it's open, so for it to not know is quite interesting. It might show that it's a limited AI itself, because if it's digitally footprinted on the XRPL, that a business is being built on it, digitally and logically speaking, you should be able to tell that something is built on it. But that's what the AI said. Anyways, XDC is building liquidity against, there's the pairs it's building liquidity against: USD, JPB, JPY, and the AED. This will enable buyers, suppliers, and financiers in instant migration, mitigation of counterparty risk by settlers directly in XDC or any fiat currency through XDC. These are the ones currently there. So I'm about to head off to go to bed. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me. I hope you learned something today. Love you all. Have a good night.
Making major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.